In the winter of 1992, James and Jessica Stolpa and their 5-month-old baby Clayton embarked on a road trip that went horribly wrong. Stranded in a desolate wilderness, battling icy winds and hungry coyotes, their fight for survival unfolded in the unforgiving embrace of a relentless snowstorm. Brace yourself for a gripping journey through the storm, where every step is a battle and every choice is a life-altering gamble. It all began when they received news of Jim's grandmother's passing. Despite the weather warnings and Jim's mother advising them to wait, they were determined to make the trip to attend the funeral. Jim, a 21-year-old Army private, his 20-year-old wife Jennifer, along with their baby Clayton, embarked on a journey through Nevada to Idaho. On their way, the blizzards had closed the main interstate highway, their planned route, so they decided to take an alternate path. They believed it would lead them around the storm, unaware that it was a less traveled road covered deep in snow. Stopping at a service station to equip their truck with chains and grab some more food, they faced the dilemma of not being able to inform Jim's worried mother about their change of plans. Undeterred, they continued, thinking they were outsmarting the storm. As they ventured further, the snow became deeper and soon, they found themselves stuck on an isolated, snow-covered road. Despite attempts to shovel the snow and free the truck, their efforts proved futile. As the cold set in, they decided to stay with the truck, using whatever they could find to insulate themselves from the freezing temperatures. They were in the middle of nowhere with no cell phones, no GPS. 4 days passed, and the family's situation grew dire. Jim and Jennifer faced the harsh reality that no help was coming. With dwindling supplies and freezing temperatures, they made a fateful decision to embark on a perilous journey by foot. The couple packed up their food and a few other things they could carry, like a sleeping bag for the baby and means to start a fire. They obviously had not packed for these conditions and only had nice clothes for the funeral and lounge clothes and tennis shoes that are not waterproof and certainly not what you want while walking through the snow. After putting on several layers of socks, they took the plastic off their dry cleaning and they wrapped it around their feet and then put another layer of socks on over that. Little Clayton was bundled up in several layers of clothing and in a sleeping bag. They then set out, walking through the snow. The snow-covered landscape stretched endlessly as they trudged through the sub-zero temperatures, dragging their belongings and a 5-month-old baby. The arduous walk, initially filled with determination, soon became very tiring and hard. The snow, shin-deep to waist-deep on some occasions, made progress slow and painful. They survived on meager rations, resorting to eating snow for hydration. The biting wind and biting hunger were constant companions as they pressed on, unsure of what lay ahead. During their journey, Jim and Jennifer faced physical and emotional challenges. Jennifer's feet grew numb, and Jim grappled with the emotional burden of leading his family through the snow-covered wilderness. Yet, the survival of their baby, Clayton, became their driving force. Their shoes, ill-equipped for the harsh conditions, left their feet numb and battered. The biting wind sliced through their makeshift layers, and hunger gnawed at them with each step. The family's situation grew grimmer with each passing day. In the midst of this struggle, a heartbreaking decision loomed. The physical toll on Jennifer had become too much. They needed to find shelter. Jim's keen eyes spotted a small opening in the rocks, a small cave. It was a modest enclave partially concealed by the snowy terrain. Hope flickered in their hearts as they approached the cave, a potential haven from the biting wind that relentlessly battered them. The cave, nestled within the vastness of the Nevada wilderness, became a pivotal point in their journey. Here, amid the rocks and snow, they faced the difficult decision of whether Jim should press on alone, seeking help, while Jennifer and Clayton waited in the relative safety of the cave. With a heavy heart, Jim and Jennifer acknowledged the harsh truth. Their chances of survival increased if Jim ventured forth alone to seek assistance. It was a gut-wrenching choice. Jennifer, holding their precious son Clayton, understood the gravity of the decision, and tears welled in their eyes as they faced the inevitable separation. They shared a tearful goodbye, unsure of what the next hours held. As Jim pressed forward alone, he grappled with the weight of leaving his family behind. Each step felt heavier than the last, his determination to wage war against exhaustion. The isolation, both physical and emotional, was overwhelming, yet he pressed on, fueled by the thought of reuniting with his family. He covered an astonishing 50 to 60 miles, enduring severe frostbite, hypothermia, and exhaustion. In the meantime, in the cave, Jennifer cradled Clayton, doing her best to provide comfort amidst the biting cold. The snow-covered walls offered a momentary shield from the elements, but the harsh reality of their situation pressed heavily on her. She could hear the howls from nearby coyotes, which terrified her. She was also having horrible pains in her feet. She took off her shoes to find her feet extremely swollen and black from frostbite. To help stop the pain, she put snow on top of her feet to help numb the pain, which worked, but unbeknownst to her, it made the frostbite far worse. Days turned into a blur as Jim trudged through the snowy expanse, driven by a relentless resolve. Then, amid the eerie silence, he heard the distant hum of an engine. A mix of hope and disbelief flooded his senses, and he strained to confirm whether it was real or a figment of his desperate imagination. As the sound drew nearer, a big bulldozer emerged, driven by a man named Dave Peterson. The flashing light atop the vehicle cut through the wintry gloom, signaling not only rescue but also the end of their harrowing ordeal. Jim waved and screamed, the weight of the past days lifting from his shoulders. Dave, a seasoned local, familiar with the treacherous terrain, gazed at Jim with a mix of concern and disbelief as Jim recounted the harrowing tale of their journey. Taking Jim under his wing, Dave led him back to his house and swiftly organized a search party, though the looming threat of more snow added an air of uncertainty to the already challenging mission. Jim, his voice laden with the weight of their ordeal, provided meticulous details about the cave's location. He was transported to a hospital in Cedarville, where he anxiously awaited news of the search. Meanwhile, Dave and his friends ventured out into the unforgiving landscape, scouring the wilderness for any sign of Jennifer and baby Clayton. Hours passed without success. Then, as the day waned, a glimmer of hope emerged. One of the search party members spotted an anomaly in the distance, a flash of color against the desolate backdrop. It was Jim's sweatshirt. Cautiously approaching the cave, they braced themselves for the unknown, but their fears gave way to relief when they heard Jennifer's weakened voice responding to their calls. Cold and hungry, yet miraculously alive, the family's reunion took place several hours later at the hospital in Cedarville. The following day, the young family was transported by ambulance to Washoe Medical Center in Reno, Nevada. Amazingly, baby Clayton suffered little from the ordeal, other than from severe dehydration and diaper rash. But both Jim and Jennifer lost part of their feet, plus toes, to frostbite. All up, they spent 8 hellish days in the wilderness. Their ordeal was made into a TV movie in 1994 called Snowbound: The Jim and Jennifer Stolpa Story, with Neil Patrick Harris and Kelly Williams in the title roles. If you enjoyed this true story, you will also enjoy the true chilling story of Tom and Eileen Lonergan, a scuba adventure turned tragedy in the Great Barrier Reef. Well worth watching. Until next time, bye for now.